A lot of people ask me when they start creating their courses, where should I host my courses? Because you have lots of options. You could be using third-party sites like Udemy or Skillshare, or you might want to set it up your own way on an LMS system, which we'll talk about what that is, like Thinkific or Teachable. So let me go through some of the advantages and disadvantages of where you could host your courses to help you make the right decision. So there's three main ways that you can host your courses. The first one is by using an LMS, which is a learning management system platform. So that's a platform like Thinkific or Teachable. And then secondly, you could use a third-party platform like Udemy or Skillshare. And thirdly, by hosting them from your own website. Let's talk about the advantages and the disadvantages of those three ways that you can host your course. So firstly, let's talk about the LMS, Learning Management System. Well, some of the advantages are that you can collect your email addresses. Now, you can't do that on third-party hosting platforms like Udemy or Skillshare. So if you're collecting email addresses, it means it's building your email list, which means you can keep promoting to them, building a tribe, selling more product to them, building your own little network of people. So that's very important. You're also in control of your own branding. You can make the site look and feel exactly like you want it to. You can charge what you want. On third-party platforms like Udemy, for example, they'll discount them if you choose to let them do that, and it means that you're not really in charge of the end price, so you can charge what you want. There's also little financial outlay to set this up. You can use the free versions if you're just starting out. I did that for about 6 months with my Thinkific site. It was fantastic, and it wasn't until I started getting lot more students that I upgraded. Another advantage is you can create courses in the format that you want. So, for example, if you do a little bit of video, but you have a lot of notes, a lot more reading material, you can create that on your own LMS, or you might want MP3 downloads. Really, depending on what you are teaching, you can create the course in the format that you want. On some of those third-party platforms, there's a system set up that's standard that they prefer. So, for example, Udemy, as an example, is they require 60%. They prefer 60% video, and you probably won't get a course approved if you don't have 60% of video. But for some training programs, that's just not the right way to go. People would prefer downloadable notes or lots of reading material, really depending on the topic. So you can create the courses in the format that you want. And finally, you can build a platform, your own library of content. So when people hit your site, they're just getting your courses. So I started with one course and now I've got 12. And when people go on my website, they see all my courses and nobody else's. What's some of the disadvantages of having an LMS, a learning management system? Well, firstly, you have to market yourself. Now, if you're not a big marketer, if you don't have a big platform of fans or a platform of students yet, that's going to be hard work, especially if you are like most people that are setting up websites, training websites. You're really good at the teaching part, but don't have a lot of experience with marketing. You will have to learn some marketing techniques to market your own LMS. It's also a lot more work to set up, like versus a third-party platform like Udemy. It's a lot more work. It's not impossible. It's still very user-friendly, but it's still more work. You also have to oversee all the payments using PayPal or Stripe. Now, this is actually quite easy to set up, but in terms of tax and paying yourself, you will need to understand the laws in your country to make sure that you're reporting correctly come tax time. So that's something that you really have to watch. What's some other disadvantages? Well, if you don't have a name, we talked about this before, if you're not well known, it's hard to direct people to your site. And then if you do, people may hesitate to buy as there's no social proof that you are who you say you are. So an example would be, again, if we use Udemy, there's reviews on there on your course and other people's courses that are similar to yours. And you can also see how many students are in a course. So you're already gaining a reputation being on these sites by the reviews that are happening on your course on those sites, but also if people go and check out other courses that are similar to yours to see what other people are saying, that helps them to decide whether to choose your course or not. On an LMS, you don't have that option. If people don't know who you are, they're not going to know if your course is worth anything or if it's good or if it's bad. They've got nothing to compare it to. Another point to make is if you've never done an online course before, it can be a lot of work as you learn how to set things up. But you may be really tech savvy and it might be easier than you think. I know it didn't take me long to set mine up, but if I'd started right at the beginning before I'd been on Udemy for a year, I think I would have found it really overwhelming. Let's talk about third-party marketplaces now. What are the advantages and disadvantages of using platforms like Udemy or Skillshare? And there's plenty of other options also. I'm just giving you those as an example. Well, firstly, they do most of the marketing for you. So if your course does well, they will promote it even more. If you promote also, you're driving traffic to your courses, that will also increase their promotion of your course. You're also effectively reaching a wider audience that is beyond your own network. Now, if you're using an LMS, that's very hard to do. But when you're on a website where lots of other courses are and lots of people are coming to this website to look at courses and they might accidentally land on yours, or, for me, for example, someone might type in singing and my course comes up. They've never heard of me, but they want to sing. My course comes up straight away. So you're reaching a wider audience that's beyond your own network. They also take care of all the payments and the refunds, and then they pay you at the end of the month after taking their cut, which is really great. Makes it nice and easy for you. Let's talk about some more advantages. So there's no financial outlay to have your courses on these sites. So if you don't have a lot of money and you're just setting yourself up, and you need more than what the free versions of an LMS are offering you, Udemy, Skillshare and the like are great because you don't have any financial outlay to have your courses on those sites. Payout is normally 30 days after the end of the month. It's always consistent, which is really great. Udemy in particular have been fantastic. They always pay on time, sometimes early. There's also an easy layout, so it's easy for you to use. It's easy to set up your courses. When I was first starting out, I couldn't believe how easy it was just to get a course up on Udemy. It was super easy, very easy to understand. So if you're not tech savvy, these platforms are fantastic. They're free. There's no upfront costs for these sites. You already have engaged students looking for courses to learn. That's really important. And you can build an audience outside of your own fans or your own market. What are some of the disadvantages? Well, you can't collect email addresses. Now that is something that's really important if you're wanting to build your market. It means you also can't market other products or services aside from those that are on Udemy. Now some people don't mind this, but really at the end of the day, if you are putting your courses on Udemy, they are Udemy students, not yours. So you can't collect email addresses. So you can't effectively promote and continue to promote your courses that you may not have on Udemy, as an example. They're limited in the amount of promotional announcements that you can send. I think for Udemy, for example, it's 2 promotional announcements a month and 2 educational announcements a month for each course. So if you want to do more than that, then you are limited. You are not in control of how many emails you can send. You're also not in charge of the price. You can choose to not have Udemy promote your courses and set the price to a certain fee, but then you are competing with thousands of other courses that are being heavily discounted. So if your course on how to build a bike, for example, is $100 and the course that's similar to yours is $100, but they're allowing Udemy to discount their course and it happens to be $10, most people are going to buy that $10 course. So you're not in charge of the price, which for some can be quite frustrating. There's benefits as well because there's so many students, you still sell more, so you're making more money generally. You're also not in control of your branding. So you are on Udemy, you are on Skillshare, and the look and feel of their site is how your course will look and feel. And they also take a percentage of your sale. Now, I think that's fair enough because they're doing all the marketing, but it can affect your income. Although I might say that if you're earning a lot of money, you're not going to care. All right, some more disadvantages. These sites require a certain style of course. For example, length of videos may need to be shorter, or courses need to be a certain length. They may prefer more video than notes or other options, and you must comply if you want your courses on these sites. For example, Udemy requires 60% video. They don't like a lot of downloads. They don't sort of classify them as lectures. They're kind of additional to your course video or a course module, and it also needs to be over half an hour. So if you can comply, that's fine. But if you have a course that's teaching something specific that doesn't match up to half an hour, or there's a lot more downloadable readable material, or if you have more MP3s than you do videos, then these aren't the sites for you. Also, your income can go up and down. You are not in control of your income. They also can change the rules at any time, and that's happened to me quite a few times, and this does affect your income. Okay, moving to the final option for you. Hosting your courses on your own site, your own WordPress site. Well, having a WordPress plugin like Zippy Courses, CoursePress, or CourseCat, they'll allow you to host your courses on your own WordPress site. They're similar to the look and feel as if you were to use Thinkific or Teachable, and you have a lot of control. What are some of the disadvantages? Well, out of the options that I've just mentioned, this takes probably the most work and can be quite complicated if you're not familiar with this type of setup. So if you're just starting out, you're not super tech savvy, this could be quite overwhelming for you. But if you're good at those things and you're pretty good at moving around WordPress, then by all means go for it, because it is a great option. But the other disadvantage is it's an upfront payment or monthly payment for the plugin, which can get quite expensive if you are on a budget. So which one is right for me? Maybe you're feeling really overwhelmed right now and going, I don't know what to do. Well, let me throw some ideas at you that might help you make the right choice. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, start with Udemy or Skillshare. Start with one of those third-party platforms, because it's a great way to learn about the whole industry. And as you learn more, you'll find out what works for you. You know, one of the best decisions I feel like I made was starting out on Udemy because of a whole bunch of reasons. The two important reasons for me were, firstly, there's a great Facebook community where I can meet other instructors. I can ask lots of questions. You know, sometimes I'll get stuck on something. I'll ask a question in there, and an instructor who's a bit more advanced than I might be will have the answer straight away. I've made a great network of friends who are experienced, and I've learnt so much from them. So the forum, the Facebook community is fantastic, but also the standard on some of these sites is quite high. So Udemy has a high standard of how they want their courses to be presented, because they have a reputation to keep up. And so what I thought was a good standard, there were times at the beginning where they didn't think it was a good standard, say my video production or my audio. So it really pushed me to be better, and I wouldn't have known any of that if I hadn't been on these sites getting that kind of feedback before they accepted and published my courses. So starting off on a third-party platform is great for those reasons. A good way to learn if you've got no experience in creating online courses. And I'll say this really strongly again, you might think that the quality of your audio and your video is fine, and it's not until you post it in the Facebook group or you have Udemy bring feedback that you realize it's not so fine, and that's frustrating, but it will make you better at what you do until you're creating world-class courses. Let's go to the next point. So have your own platform once you become more experienced, or if you feel confident that you can attract paying customers, or if you already have a following. So if you've already got a really strong base of customers, by all means, use your own platform, whether that's an LMS or on your own site. But if you don't have a market yet, if you're just starting out, those third-party platforms are the way to go. I really believe that. And then in a few months' time, once you become more experienced, start on an LMS system or on your own site and go from there. But learn on those third-party sites and then bring that over if you've got no experience. I think that that's a really good option. And then finally, use Udemy and the like for different types of courses that can attract new customers. So don't put your $1,500 best ever course on Udemy, but put maybe a sample of that on Udemy, or put a smaller course on there and use it as a lead magnet to attract people to your bigger courses. So that will hopefully help you make a decision. We have those 3 options for you. Let's go through them again. Number 1 is using an LMS to host your course, which stands for Learning Management System. Number 2 is using sites like Udemy, third-party platforms, or Skillshare. And then finally, hosting your courses on your own WordPress website. I hope that that's helped clarify some things for you and that you can continue to go on making the best online courses that you can. Have fun.